dialogue editing. The heart of this project really is to develop really good skills for dialogue editing. And what you should always do is ensure, using R and T to zoom in, you should always ensure that you have a very clean start and clean end to your dialogue. Highlight X command, and I've deleted that section. If I solo this part,
sometime in the future,
I don't need this area here. Now, it's important not to start any audio from an edit point where you have cut. There might be an unwanted digital click. You just never know what might appear later. If this project was played back in a cinema with a very powerful audio system, you'll hear all these little nuances that you may not have heard on your own system. I can move the fade point. So that begins without any unwanted noise. The fade is a linear fade. I can change that by double clicking and redrawing the fade. Good. So I should do the same process. Well, it's not exactly the same, but it's a similar process to the end. So make sure that I have no unwanted noise at the end of that particular part.
Time.
Make sure I don't delete too much of that dialogue.
Time.
Good. And finally, for this phrase, ensure that I have a very clean start. You can see the unwanted sound here. And I didn't realize it, but I had the time stretch tool on. So that was not good. Put this back to the Smart tool. Yeah, that sounds good.
In the future.
Okay, I should be able to fade out. Like, I don't want to delete too much of the breathy sound of my voice. Make some kind of fade like that.
In the future.
Good, so that's a very nice clean dialogue. The start, the end of that part, the next part of the dialogue phrase. Here you visually see the audio is much louder for the dialogue compared to here. So with a good actor or actress, they will be able to perform and change the tone of their voice, like hard voice or soft voice, but control their overall output in terms of level of projection. But for less experienced actors, you may need to go in and edit the level of certain parts of the dialogue. Now, always use your ears, not your eyes, to visually look at the waveform, although that's informative, but you really need to be listening to the dialogue. Determine yourself if this needs to be raised. For example, if I need to increase the level of this particular part, then I can do it from here. Now I can reset that level by option click back to 0 dB. So I can either increase or decrease and reset with the option key click. So I'll increase that a little bit. Now we'll have a listen to
sometime in the future.
So this is a little bit too loud. So I'll just reduce this a little bit more. Something, just a slight increase on that part.
Sometime in the future.
Okay, so the dialogue's edited. I've got this sound here, which is a thundering lightning sound. And I have some music starting over here. And I need to solo that. So if a track doesn't play back, you may have a solo on or a mute on particular track. Just ensure that those are selected for the purpose of playback, either solo or mute. So I've got that fade. Now I can always delete that fade. Just delete. Yeah. So that's a fade point, and then I could say, well, let's bring the music over here. Let's let us listen to all tracks. Now let's have the music come in just underneath.
Sometime in the future.
Okay, not too bad. So we need to balance these two sound elements against the dialogue. So to bring the mixer up, I can either go from the window, choose the mixer, and adjust the level here, or I can use the command keys, command equals, to call up the mixer. Command equals to bring the mixer up, command W to close the window. Basic operations.